Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for being here today for Deborah Kobylt Live. Incredible guest we have in studio with us, Rupert Runewitsch. Did I say that properly?
Yes, you did.
Okay,
Well
thank
done.
you so much. You are an entrepreneur, and you've done quite a bit in your life, but in particular, we're here to talk about a few of your companies. Our Los Angeles. That's what you're marketing all kinds of products under Our Los Angeles. One of them is essences. We're going to get into that because I love this. It's a non-alcoholic drink and it's beautiful and it's very tasty. I mean, really. And it's great to have at parties so you don't feel like you always just have to drink water with a lemon in it, which is what I always do because I'm not a drinker. You also are marketing this beautiful vodka, which is incredible. And I've been drinking a little bit of this too, even though I'm not much of a drinker. Our Vodka by Our Los Angeles. And you've got other products that you're developing.
Exactly.
You also are CEO of Vista, right?
Correct.
What is that? This is like the longest introduction. It's a database software for hotels so they know what you are and what you like by the time you get in there, right?
Exactly.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure.
You're someone who has really done quite a bit in your career. Let's talk about your work that you did with Gary Vee. Right?
Yes,
what did you do with him?
Yeah, so my background's always been in marketing and brand building. And when I moved to the States, probably about 8 years ago, I opened up an innovation hub in San Francisco, which was all about connecting brands with the latest tech and also with the unicorns, any of the beta products coming out of Facebook and Apple and Google and so on. And when I decided to leave that company, Gary Vee approached me to come on board and be his head of growth. And essentially that was connecting dots within his ecosystem, which is, as you know, quite large.
You must have been doing something right for Gary Vee to contact you and help you to grow him. That's pretty remarkable. I mean, that's a field that's tough, but you clearly know how to navigate through it with influencers. We talked about that word quite a bit. We'll get into that too. Who's an influencer after all? But how do you go about doing what you do to market a product, a new product, in a field that's already crowded? Let's say this vodka, Our Los Angeles Vodka. I love the packaging.
Thank you.
That's incredible.
Yeah, everything we do with this brand, particularly Our Los Angeles, is about celebrating the city, right? So we started with the vodka. The vodka recipe came from the Absolute vodka team in Sweden. And they gave us a recipe, and we then took ingredients that we've sourced, some from LA and some outside of LA, to create this product. But when it comes to the essences, which you held up just now, this is a range of 6 non-alcoholic botanical mixes, all made from local, like fully local ingredients that were found all around California, mainly Southern California.
We opened this one. What am I drinking? Ginger lime. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now you put it together with sparkling water. Here you have a little. You want to do a little cheers thing?
I
You
do
already
indeed.
drank yours up. Okay, here we go. It's fantastic, and I'll tell you what I love about this. I'm not a person who drinks very much, simply because I don't usually enjoy the taste of alcohol, and I just don't. But that's great because I feel like I can have a drink when I go out and feel comfortable with something in my hand.
And there's only so much lemon and soda and you can drink, right?
But I also just, it's a proper drink is what it is when you're out, and it tastes phenomenal.
Yeah, and our plan with that brand is actually to up the botanicals and make them deliver a bit more of a feeling when you drink them. At the moment, they're more as a flavor enhancer, but I think the next batch will be more about actually giving you a biological benefit from those herbs.
Tell me about that.
Well,
I'm getting a benefit
the beauty
right
of people
now.
not drinking is that their body isn't numbed from the effects of alcohol. So by drinking something like this, it's non-alcoholic and botanical, we have an opportunity to increase the actual benefits of the herbs, and people are more likely to feel those benefits if they're not slightly numbed by the alcohol, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic. Now, a lot of the ingredients pretty much are locally sourced, not everything, but you really try and be the Our Los Angeles brand, which obviously is great globally, right? Did you think about this? Did you think about, you came up with this?
Yeah, no, definitely. So we've got a New York distillery as well, so Our New York, and we got plans to open one more in the States, which I can't mention right now because we're not sure if it's definitely going to happen. But between these three markets, or at least these two markets, these are the biggest spirits markets.
New York and LA.
New York State and LA. And there's one other, which you might guess. But anyway, and so we're just hyper-focusing on these big markets. And once we've kind of built the brands enough in these markets, we can look to expand. But at the moment, as long as we get coverage within these markets, we're happy with that.
Look, you've already got some great coverage. You're in some of the big stores here in California. You're in the Gelsons. You're in
Bristol Farms is
Bristol
big for us.
Farms is fantastic. This is beautiful packaging, also, by the way.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I could see that in Bristol Farms clearly. You're even in Bevmo.
Yeah.
So you're side by side with some of the regular big box items. And then how are you doing in a place like that?
From a business point of view, we actually spend the first part of our year getting into the chains, into the supermarket. That was the core kind of business move to get big volume push. And then it's this last year that we've been focusing on the on-premise, so restaurants and bars, because we didn't feel like the brand had recognition enough for the bars to take us. And we also only had this small bottle, which makes no sense for a bartender. So we've just launched the big bottle, which has been perfectly designed for bartenders, long neck, easy to pour, and because of the quality of the vodka and the localness of it all, we seem to be doing quite well and resonating quite a lot with a lot of bartenders and F&B guys.
This is a whole brand, if you will, a style, as you said, a lifestyle, right?
Totally.
How do you branch that out? For someone, like me, I'm connecting the dots here, but how do you branch that out with clothing? You said you want to expand into clothing. And then, remember I said it sort of reminds you of Ralph Lauren. Everything Ralph Lauren, whether it's a hat, I think at one point he bottled some drinks, and you just know it's a Ralph Lauren look. And with this, it's going to be our Los Angeles look, right?
Yeah, well, we have a very powerful brand and logo, not only because the hour opens up to other platforms, but also, we have the name of the city in our brand, which means we have the license to talk about the city as much as possible, and that's kind of what we do. But think of this as kind of the seedling of our company. Like, it started with the vodka, and we can basically branch out however we see fit because we've decided to go into lifestyle, right? And we noticed an opportunity with non-alcoholic spirits, so we went down that route. And in terms of brand recognition, there's nothing better than there's nothing better than creating apparel, and I use that word instead of merchandise because we're not creating T-shirts that you'd wear to the gym. These are like things that you can buy in boutiques around LA, made in downtown, created by designers from LA. So everything is just encompassing this great city, and it's only in cities like LA where you can produce and source garments and get everything designed all in one place. Like, that doesn't happen in other cities.
That is true. I know people who've done that, and you can just source it all here.
Everything.
You know what I like too? You have a distillery downtown in LA.
do.
For those people who are watching this who are in LA, and you can go and try out all the different drinks that you have too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're on Santa Fe, which is, right in the heart of the Arts District. It's probably on the side that's less developed than the Mateo side, which is just completely popping with some of the best restaurants. You got Bestia and Babel
exactly
over
where
there.
You are, yeah.
And, the new SohoHouse has opened up opposite. So, like, this area is on the cusp of really
Say no
up.
more. I mean, if you've got, right, Soho right across from you, that's
it's a game changer
pretty
for us.
Are you in the SohoHouse?
We just got in, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it. I don't know why you're on my show for. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
wow.
it was a good one for us. I think I think their new project is all about celebrating the area like we are, and so
very
it was a good fit.
Very positive, very fun, and you take into consideration everybody, people who want to have a drink and people like me who don't.
Exactly.
Let's talk a little bit about pushing a product, getting it out there. Remember we talked about influencers, and there's just a sea of them, whoever they are. That word is everywhere.
It is.
How do you sort through who's a true influencer for your product as opposed to someone who is not, if that makes sense?
No, it makes complete sense. It's difficult. I think everyone wants to be an influencer at the moment, and sifting through them and creating value from those influencers, because they're never going to just work with your brand. They're going to work with multiple brands. I think it's about really bringing them in and giving them reason to believe in your brand, and not just like throwing some money at them. Maybe helping them co-create your product, co-create a label in this sense, or co-create a design for the apparel. Like, make them feel like a valuable asset once you've got them in, but actually finding them You got to find out if they're hitting your right demographic.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be just because they got a small amount of followers. That doesn't mean you shouldn't work with them. In fact, these nano followers or the micro influencers, micro influencers, they're actually more powerful because they're less likely to have fake followers, less likely to have
That's completely
a fake
true.
audience.
Do you know the company Influential?
Yeah.
My friend runs that.
Oh, really?
And she hardly...
Ali, is it? Is it Ali?
Courtney. She hardly... Very, very close friend. In fact, I was in Morocco with her.
Okay.
I mean, we're like this. And we're always talking about that because she hardly has any followers. She's got like nobody on there. I'm like, Courtney, come on. You run this massive company. She goes, Deborah, because it's not about that.
Exactly.
So everyone's running around trying to get numbers, but instead what matters is, as you know, the quality of them, you know?
It is.
Quality of
the
your people.
quality of their followers, but also the quality of their content. I think the big variable is these content creators that are actually these influencers and content creators who create something valuable for their audience. They win. The ones who are just like posting stuff that means nothing, they're losing.
I agree with you. And people have said to me, you got to post, you have to do this. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It's got to be meaningful.
You've got to create value.
Yeah,
for sure.
Completely agree. Let's talk about Vista.
Yes.
That Gary V also invested in, right?
Yeah, so when I
amazing.
I came up with the concept of Vista kind of while I was working with Gary, having exposure to all of these platforms that he invests in, obviously looking at different markets and trends, and I saw there was a real trend towards ownership of data and privacy, but also in the hospitality space, which was notoriously bad at innovating. I saw an opportunity to create a platform that allowed customers like you and I to own our data and share it out with businesses on our terms. So when we arrived on premise at a luxury hotel, they'd know everything we want them to know about us.
That you want them to know. I like what you said, on our terms.
Exactly.
You know, what I want you to know. You know, you don't need to know everything else about me. But for this trip, this is what you need to know.
Yeah,
I like that. It's very clever.
Everyone's collecting data about us and we don't even know what's being collected. And that's the scary thing. So Vista allows you to have full ownership of it. So you know if the Four Seasons has this data on you or not. They also... You can engage with them through the app, through text. You can organize your minibar or chauffeur or whatever, all through the platform. And yeah, Gary was an early stage investor in that.
Fantastic. You're very clever with the way that you approach your work and your marketing. You really, really are. And I love the name. I love the branding. I love the look. I mean, it's just under here in the box that you presented me with. It's actually quite lovely. This is mine. And on the back, crafted and distilled in downtown Los Angeles. It's actually quite lovely. I could see this in distinctive, mini bars. If a mini bar, come on. Depending upon where you go, it's all these little bottles. It's silly. This is very lovely.
Yeah, and I think, the small size as well. I just, I'm not trying to champion drinking or hedonistic
Clearly,
behaviors.
You've got both.
Exactly. It's all about kind of just having a sophisticated, good drink for us.
Very interesting. So I love it. Anything else that we didn't even touch upon? I mean, for me, I wanted to know mostly, how do you get this out there for people? It's a new product in what I consider to be a pretty crowded field. Do you have certain people who are going to be modeling with your vodka? And all
so
that?
we've just done a partnership with Arsenic, and the best way to describe Arsenic is a modern day Playboy mansion without the nudity, I guess. It's basically a community of models and influencers that they have a place to create content, which is the Arsenic Mansion in Los Feliz. And within that community, they have a reach of something like 10 million.
Okay, let's talk about the Arsenic community, which is fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, they completely support all the arts, right?
Yeah.
If you're someone who, you can just go there, right, and do your work, your creative work. How do you get into Arsenic? How does that work?
Yeah, we were lucky, actually. They don't work with a lot of brands. I think our brand, because they are an LA entity, I think it was a natural fit for us to get in with them. They also have some extremely talented influencers and creators within their community.
But real ones.
Exactly. And we wanted to take full advantage of that. So, for example, there's a girl called Meg Zaney who's a feminist street artist, and she's about spreading the word of equal rights and female rights, but all through kind of street art, kind of like what Banksy's done, but as from a feminist point of view. And we're looking to co-create new labels with her, for example. And we are obviously going to take advantage of them for our power range and so on. So it's just a great community for us to be part of. Yeah. And it also, because they manage their influencers, that's one of the hardest thing with working with influencers, is making sure they're still credible and doing the right thing on behalf of your brand. And Arsenic do that for us. They make sure it's the right people doing the right thing, and always kind of within our guidelines, I guess.
So at Arsenic, can anyone just go? Let's say someone like myself, or if you want to, how does that work?
You have to be. I think you have to be invited to be part of Arsenic.
Because I've had people ask me about Arsenic, and I said, you know what? I don't know enough.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No. It's a. I think it's quite a tight community to get into.
It's a tight community, but it's a real community, which
Definitely.
is what I love. I mean, it's honestly, it's like going to the SohoHouse.
Exactly.
It's just such a great collection of very interesting people who are doing stuff. And it's all ages, which is what I like, because you don't just stop buying something because you're 35 years old. Not at all.
No, completely.
I'm always looking for stuff.
You're always influenced by someone or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm always looking to travel somewhere and find something interesting. I told you, I could see this exactly at the Richard Branson hotels. I really can, having just stayed at one in Morocco. I
hope Rich is listening to this. I hope Rich is listening to this.
I don't know, but we should get this over to him. I see this at Richard Branson's place, so we'll make sure. We'll just sort of push it out that way. How about that?
That'd be great.
Anyway, thank you for being here. I mean,
Thank you, Deborah.
Were very, very interesting, explaining to me how a new product such as this gets out there and how someone does this, and also about Gary Vee. Really quickly, what was he like to work with? I love him.
Great.
Yeah.
He's an amazing man. He's got a very high EQ. He's
yes, he does.
Extremely empathetic, and almost everything he does is like
spot on.
Based on and that. But everything I was going to say, it's all based on intuition. So it's a natural intuition. So he's.
Yeah, yesterday he was on the air and he was talking about men and women all should be people who can stay at home or not stay. He was talking about stay-at-home dads and moms and just like enough already. Let's just go with the equality of anyone. I just love him. I'm a big follower of his.
Yes.
So what an opportunity to have worked for him.
Yeah, it was
and for him
amazing.
To invest in your product.
Completely.
That's
No, it's an amazing friend to have, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Deborah.
How can people find you? And how can people find the product?
Well, follow us on Instagram, obviously. Our Los Angeles.
Our Los Angeles, but it's our with a...
No, not for the handle. So OurLosAngeles.
Okay.
We also have our own podcast, which is the Our Los Angeles podcast.
Oh, cool.
We're on season 2 at the moment.
Okay, and what do you talk about, and where are you? How can people find you there?
Yeah, so we're on iTunes, Stitcher,
everywhere.
Spotify, Alexa. Yeah, and we're all about LA. So not how you might think. It's not about talking about upcoming events or new restaurant openings. No, we're all about celebrating the unsung heroes of the city.
Oh, that's cool. I'm going to listen.
And subcultures.
Oh, that's fantastic. Everybody, please have a listen to Our Los Angeles podcast, buy the products, and please get in touch on Instagram.
Exactly.
And for us, you can find us the same way on all the platforms for our podcast, and also for people who watch their podcasts or listen or want to look at it. We're also on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram with all of our promos. We put them out there. And same. iHeart, what are we on? Apple Podcasts, I don't even remember. Spreaker, Spotify, everything. So thank you very, very much for being here. And please pick this up. I love it. This was fantastic. The essences, and I even opened up some of the vodka. So pick this up at many of the stores that are out there here in LA. And thanks for being here. And Deborah Kobylt Live. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you.